June 20th, 2009 was a landmark day for Gail Weaver, watching oldest son Jeff pitch against her youngest Jared as the Dodgers took on the Angels.
It was a big moment. It was nerve-wracking, but at the same time it was something that, a lot of people don't get to experience, and we felt very honored that we were able to experience that.
But it was a moment that Gail almost never experienced.
In '98, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and we, elected to go through the treatments and everything.
She's doing fine now, and she was a tough cookie. She, of course, tried to keep it from me a bit.
I was diagnosed the same day that he was finding out that they had come to terms with his contract with the Tigers. So we chose not to tell him at that moment. Obviously, that wasn't good timing. So it was his, limelight, and that's what we wanted it to be. And so we waited till, we all got back home, and then we told him at that time. And then it was all a whirlwind because it happened real quick.
She didn't want it to be on my mind while I was playing up there, but it's something that we took to heart. It
was really actually a blessing in disguise because it allowed us to think of other things. It, allowed us not to have to dwell on that, the cancer part of it. So it's funny how baseball always comes to the rescue.
As Jeff was battling through the minors, Gail was back in Southern California facing a bigger battle.
What was important for me was just to get it done and over with. I didn't want to dwell on it. I didn't want it to be to be a focus point in our lives. So I chose just to, rush into it, get it done. I felt it was real important to, be comfortable with my doctors. Everybody obviously has their own way of dealing with it, but that was, I wanted to be able to just rely on them and not have to, take away from the family.
Unfortunately, cancer was nothing new to the Weaver family, as Gail's mother, Helen Hamlin, passed away just 7 years earlier due to colon cancer.
Just like the rest of my family, my grandparents, well, my grandma especially, was there throughout, coming to Little League games, and a huge supporter. She always loved being there with her hat on, whatever team I was playing for. So, it was a tough loss. I was, about 14 years old, and that's my first taste of something like that. And it hits you hard, and you just realize how important your family is, and it brings you together in some respect.
When my mom went through it, it was worse. It was worse for me than when I went through it. And I think that's what kind of made it difficult for my kids, is because they had lost their grandmother, and then when I was diagnosed with it, I think that is what scared them, because my mom didn't make it, and I think that's what the kids were thinking about. So I'm glad that I did, so it could prove that there's the other side to it too, the good side.
By the time Gail celebrated her 5th anniversary being cancer-free, Jeff had become an established big league pitcher, and Jared was soon to follow. With the worst behind them, the family started to focus in on helping others going through what they already had. It's the reason ThinkCure Weekend means so much to the Weavers.
When it hits home like that, it becomes part of your life. I mean, you've been affected by it, and hopefully you can do things to, help out situations in the future. I know my mom has done plenty of cancer walks, and we feel like we need to do whatever we can to help out in that matter.
If it wasn't for the researchers to put their hearts into it, we would be at square one. So you have to have these. It's so important to have these foundations and these charities to raise the money, and and then it helps the people that are maybe just starting going through cancer, to see that they're not alone. That there's a lot of people that have walked what they're going through, and have made it. So I like to think that it gives them hope.
As the Angels and Dodgers go at it again this month, Gail is once again hoping to see her 2 boys on the same field. A special moment she never forgets. How special it actually is.
Even when I was going through it, I didn't like to think that I wasn't going to be here. You know, I always felt that I was going to, battle and make it through.